Get Woke, Go Broke is not just about a company that incorporates wokeness and then loses all its customers. It's also about companies that attempt to incorporate wokeness, fail, and then face serious detriment to their brand over their royal screw up. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you clicked this video. Ikea under fire for Juneteenth menu offering fried chicken and watermelon. Wow! Talk about stupid. Okay. There's nothing inherently wrong with watermelon or fried chicken. They're both extremely popular and delicious food items. Watermelon's fantastic. Did you know you can take a watermelon slice? Here's what you do. You slice it, take the seeds out. You put it in the fridge overnight with a paper towel on it. You take it out. You put it in the oven. You bake it. And it has the consistency of like a fish fillet. It's amazing for vegan cooking, by the way. Anyway, I digress. Juneteenth, of course, as you know, is the newly federally recognized holiday celebrating the final day. The last day there was slavery in the U.S. You see, a lot of people seem to think that slavery ended with the Civil War. Not true. It was 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, I could be wrong about this, that there were people in Texas still holding slaves. The Union sent down, I think, sheriffs or marshals, and then shut it down. And this was the day it finally ended. And for the longest time, black people in the United States have celebrated this holiday. I think it's a wonderful holiday. I think it represents the freedom that this country was always supposed to represent, but didn't for the first 80 or so years. And I think it represents all of the great people who sacrificed their lives to end the moral abomination that was slavery. We have greatly improved. So I'm a big fan. I am a fan, actually. I've seen some people be critical of Juneteenth. I think it's fantastic. What I don't like is, they got the big communist fist flopping around. Sure, the red salute, not a fan of that. But the idea that we could celebrate our independence from the crown, 1776. But then the idea that we had this awakening and this hard-fought battle to end slavery, truly recognizing the freedom of the individual, I think is also incredible. Well, Ikea was trying to honor this holiday that commemorates the end of slavery and the birth of true freedom. Not perfectly, but I should say the birth of freedom for many individuals. And they went full stereotype. They didn't understand. And so now we have this wacky story. But I want to point something out, right? See, this segment isn't just about the silliness that is Ikea serving fried chicken and watermelon. It's also about where we're going based on critical race theory and what it's doing to this country. Ikea did this because they were trying to be woke. But now we're hearing a Stanford professor is being slammed as racist for, singing. What did he do? He saluted the flag or something. We're seeing parents in Loudoun County, I covered this a moment ago, protesting by singing the national anthem. It's kind of creepy when the people who support this country and freedom are considered the bad guys. It's truly, truly strange. And I want to show you a video. It's actually kind of old, but it's resurfaced. I want to show you it's a cult. I've got proof. I've got video evidence. And to a lot of people who don't understand this, who don't understand critical race theory, the application of this theory and the indoctrination of it, because you've never actually witnessed what these people do, you need to see this. So please consider sharing this video. Go to timcast.com, become members to help support our journalism as we expand this company. Let's read the story from the Huffington Post. See what happened. Ikea under fire for Juneteenth menu offering fried chicken and watermelon. They say the Atlanta branch of the European furniture giant reportedly emailed staff Friday about its plan to commemorate the annual holiday, which marks the long-delayed arrival of news about enslaved people's emancipation in Texas in 1865. The lunch menu included items like fried chicken, watermelon, mac and cheese, and collard greens, employees told CBS 46. Roughly 20 employees walked off the job to protest the menu. Oh, no. An IKEA spokesperson said in a statement to The Independent, if it were me, I don't know if I'd walk off. I'd probably just bust out laughing. I'm not laughing at the plight of the individual. I'm laughing at the stupidity of this corporation trying to get woke and going broke. I want to say something, though. I want to pause. I don't like the idea of people not wanting to eat fried chicken or watermelon because of some kind of racist connotation. Don't let racists take away things that are wonderful. Everybody loves fried chicken. Sure, it's a stereotype about black people, but it's stupid because literally everybody, figuratively everybody. There are a lot of people who don't eat meat, for sure, vegans. And there are a lot of people who probably don't like chicken. Let's tell you this. I love fried chicken. It is amazing. with all them little herbs and spices, and I'm not black. I think it's a stupid stereotype to assume that it has anything to do with race, that people like fried chicken. Dude, everybody loves fried chicken. And I'm pretty sure fried chicken was invented in Scotland. It's a dumb racial stereotype that is not true. So that's what I'd say right there. Ikea shouldn't be serving it because it's stupid and not true. That being said, fried chicken's great. Watermelon too. I love watermelon. It's a bummer that there are people who don't want to eat these wonderful things because of racists. Don't let the racists take away great food. Now imagine this. What if they replaced it with instead of fried chicken, you got asparagus, and instead of watermelon, you got honeydew. Yeah, you'd be like, come on. We like our fried chicken and watermelon. I can't stand it. I don't like the idea that we give racists the power to take these things from us. Screw the racists. Ignore the lies, the stereotypes. Be yourself and like what you like. Don't care about what other people say. So I'll tell you this. I think it's really bad and stupid that IKEA did serve fried chicken and watermelon because let me read and show you what they say. Here's a quote. To honor the day, a lunch menu was created with the best intentions, including recommendations from black coworkers. We got it wrong, and we sincerely apologize. Several anonymous employees told CBS 46 the menu was racially insensitive and ignorant. Quote, you cannot say serving watermelon on Juneteenth is a soul food menu when you don't even know the history. They used to feed slaves watermelon during slave time, one worker told the station. It caused a lot of people to be upset. People actually wanted to quit. People weren't coming back to work. Look, man, if you work at a company and you don't like what the company does, you have every right to quit. So in this regard, I got no issue. These people want to walk off the job. They're allowed to do it. I think conservatives should learn a very important lesson about this. How many cops are willing to walk off the job when their cities get woke and come after them? Very few. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of cops have quit, but most cops are staying on board. Look at this. They serve chicken and watermelon and people walk off the job. The right in the culture war right needs to figure this out and learn how to combat these things. They're going to say staff members also accused IKEA of creating the menu without consulting any black employees, though the retailer claims it did get recommendations from some black staff. Following the backlash, the store manager issued an apology and revised the menu. However, employees charged the original dishes were still available the day after the holiday. Quote, they just delayed the menu by a day. Yes. Ever the capitalist IKEA. They don't want to throw away fried chicken and watermelon. It's going to waste food. So you know what they do? They say, okay, today we'll just do mac and cheese, I guess. Tomorrow we'll do fried chicken and watermelon. Dude, they don't want to waste money. Thinking that everyone was upset by the Juneteenth menu, thinking that everyone who was upset by the Juneteenth menu stayed home on Juneteenth and wouldn't notice, which just added insult to injury. The revised Juneteenth menu reportedly included collard greens, cornbread, mashed potatoes, and meatloaf. The IKEA spokesperson said the chain would work to ensure the holiday was commemorated more thoughtfully next time. We value our coworkers' voices, blah, 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 blah. We are committed to educating ourselves, blah, 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 blah. Look, I think it's fine if they want to do a Juneteenth celebration. It's a new federal holiday. I think a lot of people don't know what to do on Juneteenth. I saw a lot of people having barbecues. I love the idea that we get within 3 weeks or so, we get to have 2 summer barbecue holidays. It's fantastic. I love the idea of celebrating freedom and recognizing that we've overcome horrible things. You know what I mean? Like we want to talk about independence and freedom with the Declaration of Independence, but there were still slaves in this country. It was through a lot of hard work and through the ideas, the classical liberal ideas of many of the founding fathers, that we ultimately came to end slavery. Now, I got to point something out too, is before we move on. What y'all need to understand about slavery is that it wasn't necessarily this great ideological revolution that many people would like to claim it as, though certainly for many people it was. You know, this realizing you can't keep people. That's insane. It's, we grew up in a world where we realized that, but many people didn't. It was the norm of the day. But it was actually the Industrial Revolution that led to the end of slavery. Once it was easier to have a machine do the work, there was less support. The reality is there are moral issues in society that are propped up based on whether or not someone's life will be easy, whether they will get access to money or otherwise. So you think that was bad back then. Let me tell you something right now. The people who work in China producing the goods for Americans, they're effectively slaves. I say effectively because, on paper they'll claim it's not, but they are. It's interesting. We talked with Steve Bannon about this the other day, Timcast IRL podcast. Go check it out. And check out the bonus segment at timcast.com. But he was saying the same thing, basically. People in America today, especially these liberals, are living lives of luxury off the backs of slaves. But this time they can't see them. They never ended it. And when you get people like Hillary Clinton, the Obama administration, and they go bomb Libya, that reignited the North African slave trade. It's horrifying. So I do some things here, personally, because I try to avoid the fact that we still have slave labor in other countries that the Americans certainly exploit. I don't mean just Americans. Basically everybody does. I don't like Apple products, but the reality is even I think many other companies use the products that come out of Foxconn, so it's very, very difficult. But I am absolutely a big fan of buying American-made goods. The problem? They're hard to find. I would much rather buy American-made goods than foreign slave labor-made goods. Absolutely. Because when you spend a little bit more to buy a T-shirt or a hat or some kind of device that was manufactured from the dirt to your hand by an American, you are making America better. That's what Steve was saying. He was like, so what? So things cost a little bit more. That's not the end of the world. He's right. I would rather pay double for a cheeseburger if I knew it was for people in this country and the hard work they were doing. But a lot of the stuff, you got to understand, we import a lot of food. We do. That's mostly about hard goods, medicine, and things like that. I would gladly work harder and pay more to support my country and my community. It's difficult, though. Everyone's always trying to find a way to reduce their expenditures, spend more on the things they want. So that means that a lot of our manufacturing goods come from China, and it's made by cheap slave labor that, well, we get to live well, and we get to have cheap phones because of it. So anyway, I digress on that point, at least. This is what happens when you get woke and don't know what you're doing. But this is where we're going. Take a look at this story from the Daily Mail. Stanford professor Joel Peterson reveals student called him racist for standing for the flag, and another said white people. I can't even read that. I can't even read what he said. It's a Stanford University professor saying that someone called for white people to let's just say be removed. This is insane. And Ikea plays into it. They deserve what they get, mind you. But this is terrifyingly insane. Now, look, this is one guy talking about one student. I don't want to pretend like it's the end of the world, but this is all indicative of what this critical race theory stuff is bringing about. It is a cult. It is psychotic. It is insane. Let me show you something from Not the Bee. That's right. This is notthebee.com. Let me see if I can, I'll turn on some audio here. Is critical race theory a cult? This video makes me feel like critical race theory is a cult. And they have this post. It's actually a really old video. I've posted it on Instagram before, but I want to play it for you right now. And you need to see this. This is from a tweet from Leo Kurz, who said, wokeism is a new religion. Here's footage from one of their church services.
About racism, anti-blackness, or violence. I will use my voice in the most uplifting way possible. And do everything in my power to educate my community. I will love my black neighbors the same as my white ones.
Amazing. The one part of that, so for those that are just listening on the podcast, I'll explain. It looks to be a few thousand people all sitting down with their hands in the air, mindlessly chanting in repetition what a speaker tells them to say. This is an indoctrination technique. It is a cult building technique. I am not joking. And it is reminiscent of many religions. Religions are a little bit different, but very similar. Now, what caught me, what I caught here that was really interesting is how they say, I will educate my neighbors. They're telling these people to go preach. Look at this one. They say, is it just me or are the people in this video emitting super strong Jonestown vibes? Not the Bee says, also, quick question. Do they serve Kool-Aid before or after the prayer? In all seriousness, though, this is one of the strangest things I've seen in a while. And I'm willing to bet that only like 4 people in the entire group found the experience a little weird because it seems like most of them are super into it. It's funny because left-wing people always talk about the cult of Trump, which is definitely there to an extent. But I bet those same people would look at a video like this and be like, oh, that's fine. Totally normal. Nothing to worry about. They're just trying to be less racist. Let me tell you. For those that are not initiated, who don't pay attention, I mean like politically initiated, people who don't pay attention to politics, the QAnon faction, the Trump cultist types, few and far between. I mean, there's a decent amount. But most of Trump's supporters are regular Americans. Look at the Loudoun County parents. As Bannon said the other day, these are mothers who will spit in the ground if you say the word Trump. Some of these people are Trump supporters, but they are far from cultists. The media does this. They lie and they say that Trump supporters are the cultists. They have to. They have to deflect. There are people who genuinely do not pay attention. They don't care. They don't know. They don't care. They just want to be on the right side of history. And because they don't pay attention, what happens is the deceptive, woke establishment elite types lie to them. Tell them, no, it's the Republicans who are suppressing the vote. No, it's the Republicans who are doing all these dirty things. Sure, Republicans are bad. Republicans mostly don't do anything. This voter suppression stuff they're talking about, Democrats are making a demand for changes to the voting system, and Republicans said no. They're now saying Republicans are suppressing the vote. Republicans didn't even ask for anything. What are they even for? What do they even fight for? Don't get me started on Republicans. Democrats, however, are the establishment elite, and it's only because Trump came into the Republican Party and the populists started rising up that the left, the Democrats, actually are upset with the Republicans, because for the longest time it was the uniparty. They were the same thing. It was pointless. It was stupid. And we all knew it. No matter who got elected, it was going to be the same policies, the same foreign policy. But now something else is changing. Something that's substantially worse. And it makes it difficult to navigate this political arena. I wonder if the biggest problem we face truly is wokeism and the cult and all this stuff. I certainly think it's bad. I wonder how much it's just meant to create a divide between left and right so that there are constant battles in the political space. You then get a bunch of young people with no experience dealing with politics who enter the fray on the side of the left, and the people who are older and more experienced, and not everybody, who have paid attention to the news, who experience Occupy Wall Street, find themselves being called the right. And, the power just fluctuated. Well, seems to be fine, I suppose. Just so you know, for those that are listening, I have backup batteries on everything. So the computer didn't just shut off. But I think we're good. Anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought. The point is, we have this woke cult, and they are racial identitarians. They have ideological views. And I wonder if these divisions were sowed into our political space to make it impossible for left and right populists to come together and say, here are the things we don't like. We don't like the elites ripping us off. We don't like them stealing from us. We don't like how the hedge funds are ripping everybody off. We don't like the dirty games they play to rob us, take away our hard work, and keep us down. They want a permanent aristocracy, an elite class of landed gentry. They don't want millennials buying homes. I'm sick of it. Now, here's the problem. You look at some of these leftists who should agree with the right-wing populists, and they're too busy defending critical race theory for some stupid tribal reason. How do we get past that? I don't know, man. I won't support racial identitarianism. And therein lies the big problem that keeps the people divided. I think racial identitarianism is bad, and I think we should fight for economic liberty, the right of the individual to be free in their person, to protect their families, to work hard, to earn, to gain. But too many of these young DSA types have just been indoctrinated into wokeness through these cult-like practices. And maybe that's exactly what they wanted. It's exactly why it's happening. It's exactly why the corporations are supporting it. Because during Occupy Wall Street, there was actually a brief moment where left and the right agreed. Unfortunately, what happened was no one from the right, I guess, took it seriously enough and wanted to go down and actually speak to these people. There were a lot of libertarians there, and there were some conservatives there. But because there was no conservative leadership, the left just walked in and took over Occupy. It could have easily been a populist movement where everyone agreed, screw the big banks and screw the system. But without proper leadership and balance, it was wokeness and the establishment that took over. And then all of a sudden it became about race. No longer were we talking about banks. They were like, no, race is the problem. Yep. These people came in and they screwed it all up. And now what's happening? As the corporations try to maintain this mirage, they end up doing things like serving, fried chicken and watermelon, just pissing everybody off. Because let's be honest. I mean, it is a stupid stereotype. It was dumb of Ikea. But in the end, there is no way out of this. Ikea, there's nothing you can do. Once they're mad at you and they want to be mad at you, they will come after you and they will demand you give up power to them. So what? Ikea deserves it. If you want to play these games, this is what happens. We need to make sure we're speaking out against cult-like behavior. That we're not sitting here pretending like black holes in space are racist. Woo! Race and the cosmos. They're saying birds are racist now. Oh, shut up. You see, here's what they do. They say, many of these species were named for white men. Yeah, we name species based on Latin. So what? You know, we use Arabic numerals. Is using Roman numerals Islamophobic? Shut up. We share culture from one culture to another. It translates, it exists, it carries on. Calling birds racist, calling black holes racist. Oh, geez. It's called a black hole because light doesn't escape. But here we go. You may be familiar with the card game Magic the Gathering. I used to be a big fan of it. The company actually banned some of the cards because the way Magic the Gathering works is there's 5 magic types. There's like white magic, there's black magic, there's blue, green, and red. And they said, well, you know, saying black is racist, so they banned a bunch of cards from the game. That's insane. The idea of white magic and black magic has to do with the night and the day, not with the color of people's skin. During the night, it is dark, it is scary, there's monsters, there's bears. During the day, it is warm and comforting, you can see. That's where these tropes come from. But these lunatics are making it about a race. Well, you know what? You reap what you sow, Ikea. That's on you. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.